So, what do your savings account and a massive billion-dollar corporate merger actually have in common? Well, it turns out the answer is a few simple, kind of hidden mathematical patterns. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how finance really works.
All right, let me ask you a question right off the bat. Is $1 million in 10 years worth the same as $1 million sitting in your hand today? Now, your gut might say, yeah, a million is a million. But in the world of finance, the answer is a hard no. And the cool part is, by the end of this, you'll know exactly why, using some surprisingly simple math.
To get why that $1 million is different, we have to start at the very beginning, with the foundation, the basic patterns of growth. You see, it turns out that pretty much all of finance, whether it's your salary or a giant investment fund, is built on just two predictable mathematical ideas.
Okay, so the first pattern is called an arithmetic progression, or AP. Now, don't let that fancy name fool you. All it means is that you're adding the same number over and over again. It's steady, step-by-step growth. Just think of it like walking up a staircase. One clear, predictable step after another, simple as that.
Now, the second pattern, this is where things get really interesting. It's called a geometric progression, or GP. And here, instead of just adding, you multiply. And that changes everything. This isn't a staircase anymore. This is a tiny snowball rolling down a huge mountain, getting bigger and faster and bigger exponentially.
So let's just put them right next to each other. On one hand, you have arithmetic progression. That's growth by addition. It's linear, it's steady, like getting the same exact raise every year. On the other hand, you have geometric progression. That's growth by multiplication. It's exponential, it speeds up like the returns you get on an investment, and honestly, understanding that one little difference, adding versus multiplying, that's the whole secret.
Let's make this super clear with a real-world example. Meet Mr. Emeka. He starts his job with a salary of $240,000. And every single year, he gets a raise of exactly $25,000. No more, no less. See? That's a perfect arithmetic progression in action. It's steady, it's predictable. You can map out exactly what he'll earn for years.
So we've got these two patterns, right? So what? Well, this is what. These two patterns, AP and GP, are the engines behind the two most important concepts in personal finance: simple interest and compound interest. They power two very, very different ways for your money to grow.
And here's the absolute key difference, the thing you have to get. Simple interest, that's our steady arithmetic progression. It only ever pays you interest on the money you first put in. That's it. But compound interest, our snowballing geometric progression, oh, that pays you interest on your initial amount plus all the interest you've already made. Yeah, you heard that right. It pays you interest on your interest.
You know, talk is cheap. Let's run the numbers and see this in action. Let's imagine we invest $200,000 for 5 years at a rate of 8%. First up, we'll see what the steady, simple interest engine does. And there you have it. After 5 years with simple interest, your $200,000 turns into $280,000. Hey, that's an $80,000 profit. Not bad. It's nice, clean, predictable growth. But what happens when we fire up that other engine? Bam! With compound interest, that exact same investment becomes $293,865.60. That's almost $14,000 more. Where did that extra cash come from? That's the magic. That's your interest starting to earn its own money. That's the snowball effect in action. And this leads us to what is basically a golden rule in finance, and it's worth remembering. The amount you earn with simple interest will always be less than what you earn with compound interest. Always. No exceptions. Okay, so we've established that compounding is this amazing engine for growth. But how do you actually, use it? Let's talk about the application, about how you can put this powerful force to work for you with a really common financial tool.
And that tool is called an annuity. Again, it sounds more complicated than it is. Really, an annuity is just any sequence of regular, constant payments. Think about the money you put into a savings plan or a retirement fund every single month. That's an annuity. It's just a way to automate your savings and let that compounding engine do all the heavy lifting for you.
And just look at the power of doing that consistently. Let's say you save $50,000 every year for 7 years at a pretty modest 4% interest rate. You end up with almost $395,000. Now think about that. You only put in $350,000 of your own money. The other $45,000, that's pure growth. That's the machine working for you.
All right, this stuff is great for our personal savings for sure. But what's really fascinating to me is that huge corporations use this exact same logic to make massive multi-million-dollar decisions. So how on earth do they figure out if a giant new project is a good deal or a total flop?
Well, they use a killer tool called net present value, or NPV. The best way to think about it is like a financial time machine. It uses the power of compound interest, but runs it backwards. It takes all the money a project might make years from now and answers the single most important question: what is all that future cash worth to us right now, today? And here's the best part. The rule for using it is incredibly simple. If the net present value number is positive, the project is a good idea. Green light. If the number is negative, you walk away. Red light. It's really that straightforward.
Now, calculating it might seem intense, but it's really just 4 steps. Step 1. Figure out the upfront cost. That's a negative number because money's going out the door. Step 2. List out all the cash you expect to get back in the coming years. Step 3. Use that time machine formula to discount all that future money back to what it's worth today. And finally, step 4. Just add it all up.
So, let's look at the final numbers for our project. That big bar on the right shows the total value of all the future money once we bring it back to today. It's worth over $1.2 million in today's money. And that bar on the left, that's the initial cost of $1.1 million. So when you take the value and subtract the cost, you get a net present value of over $136,000. And since that number is positive, the decision is easy. This project is a go. This isn't just theory. This is how huge financial decisions get made every single day all over the world.
Okay, we've thrown a lot of math and concepts at you. So let's zoom out. What's the big picture here? What should your main financial takeaway be from all of this?
It really all boils down to 3 simple things. First, growth happens in 2 ways: that steady, step-by-step adding, or that explosive, snowball-like multiplying. Second, that snowball method, compound interest, is without a doubt the most powerful tool you have for growing wealth. And third, knowing how to figure out what future money is worth today is the absolute key to making smart, long-term decisions.
So now you've seen behind the curtain. You know the hidden patterns. You've seen the engine that drives all of finance. So the only question left to ask is, now that you get it, what financial story are you going to write for yourself?